Well, hello everybody. I feel like Billy No Mates. I'm sat on my own tonight. My husband's gone out with his brothers. If you've watched this channel for a while, you'll know that sometimes my husband goes out with his brothers, which I think's absolutely fantastic. He's one of four brothers. So the eldest brother, Peter, he passed away. Then there's John, and then there's my husband Richard, and then there's the younger brother Robert. So John, Richard and Robert have all gone out, and I think they've gone to Chesterfield. My husband's very excited because he's got his bus pass. So if you're from another country, I'll just explain that as soon as you're officially a pensioner in this country, and I will be next year when I'm 66, you get a bus pass. And that means that you can catch the buses. I think it's after 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not sure what the other times is, what the restrictions are. And I think you can use it in different counties. Something I'll have to look into. Because you hear conflicting stories sometimes. But another thing that might make you smile is when pensioners are waiting for the bus, a lot of people call them the twirlies, because they usually get on the bus and they'll say, I'm a twirly for that bus. I'm a twirly to use my bus pass. So they're called twirlies, which is a bit naughty, but it's funny, isn't it? Don't take yourself too seriously. It's just not worth it. Well, I'm having a cup of proper tea with milk. Now, I've had the evening to myself, so I could have any tea I wanted, and I could have any dinner that I wanted. So for dinner, I've had spaghetti bolognese with a little bit of cheese grated on the top. And for tea, I've had a very old-fashioned tea, very working class as well, and it is dripping, so that's beef dripping sandwiches. So that's what I've had, and I've absolutely loved it. And then afterwards I've had some malt loaf with some butter on. All naughty things really, but a little bit of what you fancy does you good. So that's what I've had. So I don't know whether I showed you the other day. A lot of you know that I've got a real soft spot for pots. I love blue and white pots. And the other day I was somewhere and they'd got these, and I got, I got several of them, and they cost like 25p each, which was incredible. It was at a clearance shop, a charity shop. So this one is called Whispering Wheat, and it's Ainsley and Co Limited, established in 1869, ironstone, made in England. So and that is genuine hand engraving. I really love grasses, and I think that they're so pretty. And if ever I see grasses and wheat on pots, I'm just drawn to them. I was good the other day because I did see some old pottery, but I did leave it. But when I see something like this, it's got nature on it, and it's also got blue and white. So that's what I've had my tea off. I've had to quickly go and wash it so I can show and tell. But isn't it lovely? Look how clean it is. Aren't I good? Anyway, where was I? So this is what I do. I get myself some things that I like. I've done quite a lot of tidying up today. It's been, well, what can I say? It's been quite a trudge really. What I've been doing is I've been getting bags ready with gifts in for different people for birthdays. I've got a couple of birthdays soon. I'm taking my eldest son's birthday present round to him tomorrow. He lives in Nottingham. We live in Derbyshire, and it's so, we're almost on the border where we live. So we'll be going there tomorrow. So I'm going to make sure that to take his present, because I want him to have them, because he's going abroad for a few days. Him and his wife, I think I've told you before, they save up and then they go away. That's what they do with their spare time. And it's fantastic to know that your children are enjoying themselves. I had Noah yesterday, that's my grandson, and we did some pizzas together, so that was lovely. I put a post up about it, and I think he made himself a little video, but that's for him. I never sort of ask him to come on here unless he wants to, unless he says. I wouldn't say, do you want to? I just leave him to it, because I think that's important. So this is the book that I'm reading at the moment. It's called The Broken Biscuit, John Cowell. So I think he's written it, but he's asked his mother and several other people about their past. So it's called The Broken Biscuit, and it's Winifred's story, written as a tribute to her by her son. Poverty, tragedy, love and wry humour are all to be found in abundance within this book. The antics of her husband Jack, the hilarious exploits of her children in their formative years are unforgettable. The story of Winifred is also the story of working class life in the first half of the 20th century, and it portrays a culture which, although still within living memory, has long since disappeared, making it a pleasure to read for older and younger readers alike. And it really is. I'm just on page 62, and I can already tell that I'm going to really enjoy it. At the moment it's talking about her mother and the hardships that she had to endure, and all about waiting when the markets were over, and seeing if there was any fruit and vegetables that had been discarded or that had rolled off the stalls, or buying fruit and veg cheaper, so that they could get things to eat. I think it was a very difficult time for them, and I don't think people realise, just how hard it was. And I think it's in this book where it talks about, throwing overcoats over the children to keep them warm in bed at night time, because they hadn't got the blankets. And it really was like a one up, one down house that they ended up in. And of course there was lots of children, because there was no family planning or anything like that then. It seems so cruel, really, that they ended up with lots of children, and of course some of them never really lived past childhood. A lot of them didn't make it. So but why I like to read these, because I do, it does sound very solemn how I'm portraying it to you, but it's not really, because the thing that I find with these books, and I've experienced it myself, is people that haven't got a lot of money, particularly if they're all the same, they certainly help each other. So if somebody needed something, they'd go round to the neighbour and say, you haven't got such and such, have you? And I'll give you some back at the end of the week when I've got some money, because they really were living hand to mouth, and a lot of them working in the cotton mills. You know, so it was very difficult for them, but they're all in the same situation, and they all helped each other. Now I've spoken to people before. I spoke to somebody that used to live in one of the courts in Nottingham. Now, years ago, if you lived in one of the courts in lots of cities in this country, there was poverty, but everybody was the same. Nobody had got more than anybody else. So if you needed something, you'd ask somebody in the court, you know, if they'd got anything. Like she said, you know, if you wanted to use, if somebody'd got some grips to grip the hair up, they'd go round and say, you know, can I borrow your grips, because I've got to go out and I need to look right. And, you know, they do things like that. And very often you find that in poverty, community really starts to pull through. And I've certainly seen that. It reminded me a bit of the farm that we went to in Sheffield, where, you know, it was a safe place for anybody to go. It was free to go in, and there was a good community feeling about it. And, you know, I think that's a very warm feeling, that is. Like people who provide food for the homeless and people that haven't got much money. Yeah, there's a lot of people that live on the streets in every country. I don't know a country really where it doesn't happen. I suppose people might say, you know, I don't think it really happens in places like Dubai. I might be wrong, but you know, even very rich countries, which we're supposed to be, you get a lot of people that still live on the streets. Some people choose to live on the streets. You know, they don't want to live in the confines of a house, and that's perfectly fine. But it's lovely to see that people are still willing to go out there and help, you know, like delivering soup for the homeless. You know, I think that's an absolutely fantastic thing. I mean, you can say, oh, you know, we shouldn't have that anymore, but we've got it, so, you know, you've just got to do your best, haven't you? There's a very good charity in this country, and if I see one of their shops, I try and go in and get something, and that's called Shelter. And I think anybody that needs shelter should be allowed to have something, shouldn't they? I mean, a lot of houses nowadays are multiple occupancy. I know, you know, it's happening everywhere, but, you know, just to have that space of a room of your own, I think that's what people need, don't they? But it's certainly an eye-opener reading this, and it's, you know, it's interesting how people come together. You know, that's what I've found about it. But what I'm going to do now is carry on reading this, and yeah, until my husband gets home. Hopefully he'll be able to walk in a straight line. I'm sure he'll be good tonight, because we've got to get up early in the morning. Fingers crossed. Right, bye.